Hello, this is Christian and I'm back again. I know I've been away for some time, but I probably shouldn't have taken this much time off because I have so much to talk about and I feel like I'm going to be all over the place. But that's just my warning. I'll get back into the movement of things and separate these videos into a much shorter span of time. But today, I think I'm going to talk about my generation and how we are so dependent on the lack of communication, I should say. It's become a big issue, and that I've been talking back and forth to my business partner, especially the age difference, because it's kind of hard to explain to someone who is older than you on how my generation communicates, especially in the Northeast. I'm going to keep it specific to Boston. I'm from Boston. We personally just don't communicate with each other. My generation is so addicted to the technologies that has enabled us. Yes, I'm very thankful for technology. I am in the engineering background. However, it is crippling us as a community, as a whole, and as a generation in itself, because we're so dependent on these electronics. Like we don't know how to enjoy life and live life without having to take a picture, or without having to take 15 seconds of our lives to make sure everyone else is a part of our lives. Instead of just enjoying the moment and enjoying the time that we're having and these memories we're supposed to go in the grave with. Like, you don't take anything back with you other than your life and your memories. There's nothing materialistic that comes with you. Your phone doesn't go with you. Your videos, your pictures don't go with you. But what you retain from life, and with the educational value and the people you meet and just the experiences in life in general, that's what you take with you. That's what you can say to someone and be able to repeat in history and have a story said about you because you lived certain things. You actually did things in life, instead of being so consumed on the next person and if they're going to be able to see what you're doing, clocking your every move. And we've become so addicted to it that we forget how to even be social beings. It's a blessing that we're able to communicate with the masses of people in a short amount of time and to multiple people at one time. However, that was only supposed to be what it was. It was a networking platform. It was created for us to become sociable. However, we've taken it to the extreme, to the point where we're no longer having that old school social aspect where we're talking face to face, where we're engaging each other, we're picking each other's brains, we're challenging each other. We're not doing that anymore because we're left to be so distant. Like, it's very hard to become personable with somebody if all we do is talk through text. It's very hard to become personal with someone and be able to say we share the same pain, or we share the same interests, or we share the same love for things if we're no longer speaking as a human race. Like, we have to get back to the basics, and that's what we're losing. Facebook is a great thing. It's allowed us to connect with people across the world, across countries, speak to people without having to use a card anymore on your phone. Those things no longer are hindering us. However, we've taken it too far. Whereas that's something we were supposed to use as an advantage, or it's not supposed to be something that we're using as our entire being. Instagram, it's a snapshot. It's a snapshot to anyone's life, or what people perceive as your life. I have this issue because I'm not going to discount myself and say that I'm not in the social media. Actually, sometimes I need to really debrief. Like, I get so caught up in life because I'm concerned on like what the next thing I have to post for other people, so that they know that I'm still moving, I'm still doing stuff, I'm still modeling. Like, it becomes a job, and that's not the purpose of it. You have to understand that it was meant to create an environment to network, to connect with people, but that wasn't supposed to be the lasting effect. Once you make that connection, once you connect with the person that you haven't seen or you never met before, you are now supposed to take it upon yourself to continue that relationship and create that bond further. You need to call that person. You need to see that person. You need to grab a cup of coffee and do something with each other. Experience a new thing with each other. Try something new with that person. Like, we have to be so uncomfortable to be comfortable with what we used to do. We were all kids back in the day, on the street, playing on the corner, talking to each other. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have these things. Like, it's so consuming of my generation, and that I wish we can just take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of our day, and throw away anything that has to do with social media and literally go back to the basics, back to what we used to do, and that is having communication amongst each other. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but I am going to say I'm very aware of it. And that's something that most people aren't doing. They're not aware of what they're doing, and therefore they're not changing it. And we're going to build a society where we no longer speak to each other. And that's going to be an issue. So in the real world, business is not done that way. You're not going to get anything successful or great out of life by not communicating with people. People, we're natural animals. We love the connection of love, giving, sharing, that energy between communication and that physical aspect of people. Just to touch someone gives you a different feeling than to see a text. We all communicate differently. We all read things differently. But if we can't hear this from someone, we're not even using our senses that God has given us to use and be grateful for. If we're not using our eyesight, we're not using our mouths, we're not using our scent, we're not using our hands, our touch, our feeling, we're not using anything that He has blessed us with. So if He takes that away from you, how grateful will you be then? Will you now stop using your cell phone? Will you now stop using Instagram and Snapchat? Will you now stop using Facebook and instead go back and go to a coffee shop and meet someone? Or ask someone to come eat dinner with you and spark up a new conversation. Learn something new about each other. You have to go back to using your 6 senses. Go back to them. They're still there. We still have access to them. There's some people who have less than us, who have less of the senses that they use. But I'm pretty sure they'd be grateful if they have even a smidget of what you do have. So be thankful if you have all your 6 senses, but use them. Actually, thoroughly use them. I'm out.